Y'all, we got another family down there in Mississippi. Loved one buried in a pauper's field without their knowledge. This is Mario Moore. Mario Moore was beat to death and he was thrown in a pauper's field and buried there, just like Dexter Wade. And the family said they had no knowledge of it, that they just threw him away. Another Jackson, Mississippi man buried without his family's knowledge. Arkita Moore was lying on her sofa at home on the night of October 10th when she got a text from her aunt. It was a link to an article revealing the Jackson police had failed to notify the public about dozens of homicides this year. Really? I bet you they're all in those popper fields. Y'all need to just excavate the entire field. Marquita clicked it on, wondering why her aunt thought she'd be interested. She then scrolled to the list of 24 homicide victims. The second name on the list was her older brother, Mario Terrell Moore, 40 years old. According to this article, he was killed on February 2nd. This was news to Marquita and to the rest of her family. She shuddered and started crying. Lord, this is my brother, she recalled saying aloud. Someone done killed my brother. Okay, so it was after 8 p.m. She was in her pajamas. She put on a jacket and her shoes and went to Jackson Police Department downtown headquarters looking for an explanation. An officer told her no one was available. How can you be the police department and nobody's available? Over the next couple of days, Marquita and her relatives, dazed and stricken, gradually learned bits of information about what had happened, and at each step grew angrier and more hurt. Mario had been bludgeoned to death. Oh my goodness. Wrapped in a tarp and left on the streets. For months, his body had lain in the Hines County morgue, unclaimed. Then on July 14th, inmates at the penal farm had buried his remains in a pauper's field. The news wrecked Mario's mother, Mary Moore Glenn, who has not come to terms with his death and what authorities did to his body without her knowing. What are you hiding? Mary said in a recent interview. Why can't you just come and just tell somebody that their child is gone? Mario was buried the same day in the same place as Dexter Wade. Oh my goodness. A Jackson man whose death sparked public outrage and calls for the federal investigation. When NBC News reported it last month, Wade, 37, was struck and killed by an off duty Jackson police officer while crossing a 6-lane highway on March 5th. Authorities failed to notify his mother, who reported him missing to Jackson police a few days later, and they buried him without her knowledge. The Jackson mayor, who is no good, he expressed regret, failure to communicate but he said there was nothing malicious involved. Trust me, it is. It's no telling how many black men that's laying in that pauper's field, and the families don't have no clue to what happened to them. And in Dexter's case, it was no excuse. He had ID on him. Both cases expose failure of a system designed to ensure that families get notified when their loved ones die and given the chance to claim their bodies. In the days after learning about his death, Mario's family sought an explanation from the police department and Hinds County Coroner's Office. They recorded conversations with officials from both agencies and provided copies to NBC News. NBC News also obtained documents about the case through public records. The recordings and documents show the authorities said they made attempts to contact Mario's family, but did not do enough to find his mother and relatives in Jackson who said they would have claimed him. So they're saying the same thing that they told Dexter Wade's mother. Remember, it was miscommunication. Well, they're saying the same thing in the case of Mario Moore. How come when y'all dealing with black people, it's always a miscommunication? A Hines coroner office investigator said in a report that she called Mario's brother, but the phone number didn't work. Okay. Well, you had some information. You knew that he was in Jackson. A police commander told the family that a detective left a card at Mario's mother house, but neither his mother, brother, nor sisters recalled being contacted by anyone responsible for reaching his next of kin. Well, if they left a card at the mother's house, then they knew where Mario lived. They knew where his mother lived. Okay. Why not make another visit over there until you get someone to come to the door? But the family saying they didn't see no such card. So the coroner's office and the Jackson police did not comment. I bet you they didn't do that, y'all. I bet you they didn't do that. Okay. So they said, Mario was living his life. Sometimes they would go a few months without seeing him, his closest relative. So they didn't report him missing because that was pretty much the norm. They would see him periodically. So, but the family said they should not, they were not hard to find. That's what his family is saying. They were not hard to find. They just, oh, well, he ain't got nobody, Marquita said. And they threw him away. Well, in order for them to put a card in the door, they knew where his mother was. And they claimed they tried to call the brother's cell phone. So they had to have some information. That leads me to believe that Mario more than likely had some ID on him. So anyway, Mario, the oldest of five siblings and a father of an adult daughter, was loved by his family. He was humble and thoughtful. He worked maintenance and construction jobs and most recently collected shopping carts at a grocery store. He read a lot. He was able to talk to just about anyone about virtually anything religious, subject matters, politics, and what was happening on the streets. This is what his family wants people to know about him. He was smart and intelligent. He just had to struggle with things of the world, April McNair said. So, it goes into his life, but the bottom line is it looks like this is an ongoing pattern in Jackson, Mississippi. And it is no telling, y'all, they may have hundreds or even thousands of black men in the ground in Jackson, Mississippi, and their families don't know what the hell happened to them. Oh boy. Y'all gonna have to tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.